What's going on, everybody? Sausage here. Backrooms games are everywhere right now, and honestly, the genre's in a pretty interesting place. Some games completely miss the vibe, while some absolutely nail the atmosphere and make it fun to explore. And then there are some games that land somewhere in the middle, and that's where NOCLIP currently sits. It understands the backrooms really well, but the question is, does the atmosphere carry the whole thing? Let's talk about that. So, NOCLIP is a chapter-based liminal space exploration game. The first chapter is titled Rescue, and the story takes place on March 27th, 2002. You play as Dr. Oscar Anderson, a scientist working for the state-funded Icarus Research Organization. Your objective is to investigate what happened to 4 other scientists who became lost in the backrooms. As you progress, you discover each scientist one by one, and, well, spoiler alert, they're all dead. After discovering the 4th scientist, you decide you should probably get out of there, so you attempt to escape using the rope that you originally came in with. But when you get back, the rope is missing, and then you hear an entity screeching in the distance. So, with no way to go back the way you came, you decide to then escape through a vent shaft. The chapter ends with you continuing deeper into the back rooms in search of an exit. As for the gameplay, NOCLIP is a first-person exploration-focused experience, so basically a walking sim. There's no combat, and the gameplay primarily consists of walking, navigating large spaces, and locating objectives. The first level has you locating the missing scientists, but after completing that level, the structure changes. Instead of searching for scientists in all the new levels, you are just tasked with locating elevators, and the elevators transport you between different backrooms levels. The goal of the game then becomes finding a path to an exit rather than completing a linear objective. I will say though that there are no traditional jump scares, so if you're sensitive to jump scares, just know that there's none in here, and there are also no active enemy encounters during the gameplay either, so there's nothing chasing you. You don't have to worry about monsters. There is some ambient audio that includes screeching in the distance of, the entity or whatever it is, and there are some environmental sounds, such as one level including a radio, and the radio makes it sound like there's something right behind you, like it just snuck up on you, but that's it. That's it when it comes to jump scares or monsters or anything like that. I will say, though, that there is one Easter egg that I really liked. There is a mall level, and inside the mall, there's an oldest view-inspired Easter egg that features the rolling giant. This Easter egg doesn't appear to affect the gameplay in any way, but I really did like seeing it. As for the graphics, NOCLIP features a visual style inspired by early 2000s camcorders, and it looks really nice. The presentation includes some visual noise, some distortion, and some muted colors. There are 3 primary environment or level types. There's the traditional backrooms, and it's basically office spaces. There's a large abandoned mall, and lastly, there's the pool rooms. Each level uses liminal space design, and its principles, such as lighting, is intentionally limited with frequent use of darkness, and there's a flashlight that's used in certain sections to navigate those levels, and the visual consistency is maintained throughout the entire game. Lastly, let's talk about the value or the amount of time you'll get out of the game. NOCLIP currently costs $4 on Steam. A single playthrough took me about an hour and a half, and there are no achievements currently implemented. The game currently contains only one playable story chapter, and it was last updated on March 4th, 2024. It did say that there are additional chapters that are planned, but nothing else is available except for this one chapter. So with all of that said, NOCLIP earns a rating of 6.5 sausages out of 10. So I'll start with the positives. Atmosphere-wise, this game absolutely understands the backrooms. The levels look great, the camcorder aesthetic works really well, and the mall level in particular is easily the most detailed and interesting space in the game, and it's my favorite. But here's where things start to fall apart for me. First and foremost, the levels are way too big. I understand that lore-wise, the backrooms are supposed to feel endless, but the gameplay still needs structure. When the exploration turns into wandering with no real meaningful feedback, it stops being tense and it starts to become boring. The pool rooms in particular are where I have the biggest issue with this. The objective suddenly changes, where you go from finding the different elevators to finding buttons, and you have to push all 3 buttons to then unlock the elevator. This mechanic isn't introduced anywhere else in the game, and that's fine, but I spent close to 30 minutes, or about a third of my total playtime, wandering through the pool rooms with only a flashlight. After about the first 10 or 15 minutes of being in the pool rooms, I was completely ready for the game to be over. I'm just going to be completely honest about that. Visually, the levels look great, but they also feel repetitive. Most of the backrooms areas, such as the beginning area with the yellow walls and the carpet, the traditional backrooms, it's just repetitive. It feels like variations of the same exact place. They put in chairs here or desks there. They make minor changes, but it feels like Backrooms level 1.A, 1.B, 1.C, continuing. That's what it felt like. The pool room stood out visually, but it was also the least interesting place to explore. The reason for that is because it was a massive area where it was nothing but tile and water. There were some areas where you could walk into different corridors that were elevated above the water, so you weren't walking in the water, or some of the tiles in certain areas were purple or blue compared to white, but by and large, it was tile and water for 30 minutes, and that was it. The mall, while it was my favorite place, was also frustrating. It was easily the most detailed environment, but it was also the shortest. If you wanted to, you could speedrun the entire mall section in just a couple minutes, maybe even less. Meanwhile, the least engaging area, the pool rooms, was the longest. Also, the lighting was another issue. I understand the use of darkness, but there was just way too much of it, especially in the mall level, which is a shame because it's clearly where most of the effort and detail went to. And finally, while $4 isn't expensive, the price doesn't really matter if the game isn't fun, and for me, the moment-to-moment gameplay just wasn't engaging enough to carry the experience. The atmosphere is strong, the visual direction is pretty solid, and there's clearly potential here, but the pacing, level design, and the gameplay structure really hold it back. This feels less like a finished experience and more like a strong prototype that never really got, refined, I guess. With no updates in almost 2 years, at least that's when I recorded this, the game just feels abandoned, even if that's not officially the case. If you're a die-hard Backrooms fan, it might be worth checking out, but otherwise, I'd recommend waiting for a deep sale, something like 50 to even 75% off before jumping in. And that's my review of NOCLIP. If you got this far, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a little comment below, but if not, just know that I appreciate your viewership nonetheless. I also stream on Twitch occasionally. I have a Discord for both content creators and casual viewers alike, and I'm a Steam curator, so consider following me on all of those platforms as well. I'll leave a link to everything in the description below. Anyway, I think I'm going to cut my review here. Mahoney, out.